For 10 years, I stayed beside my boss without asking for anything in return. I built his career from the shadows while secretly loving him in silence. From managing his performances to enduring endless sleepless nights, I gave him the best years of my life just to watch him stand at the top of the world. And the moment he finally became a world-renowned pianist, I chose to leave. Everyone thought I was foolish. Only I knew the truth. This 10-year secret crush had finally come to an end. When I submitted my resignation, the sound of the piano stopped abruptly. Ningbing's fingers paused above the keys as he slowly turned to look at me. Why? His voice was calm, but I caught the faint confusion hidden beneath it. I forced myself to smile. Miss Bai, I'm not young anymore. I want a stable life now. I've met someone suitable back home. It was a lie, a harmless excuse to make my departure easier. For a long moment, the piano room fell silent. Then he quietly placed my resignation letter on top of the piano. You can take a vacation, he said softly, but I hope you reconsider resigning. For a second, my heart almost gave in. A dangerous voice inside me whispered, stay beside him forever. But reality reminded me of one thing. He was already preparing for an engagement, and I had no right to love someone who would never belong to me. So in the end, I lowered my head and said, I'm sorry, Miss Bai. For 10 years, I handled every part of his life flawlessly. I memorized the temperature of his piano room, the exact way he liked his tea prepared, every rehearsal schedule, every performance, every emotion hidden behind his cold expression. To everyone else, I was only his capable manager, but only I knew how much I loved him. A love so quiet that even after 10 years, he never noticed it. Nobody understood why I stayed with Ningbing for so long. Nobody knew that years ago, when my entire world collapsed, he was the one who saved me. At 14 years old, I stood on the edge of a rooftop with my dying father. I had already given up on life. But Ningbing grabbed my hand and refused to let me fall. That night, he became the only reason I kept moving forward, and from then on, loving him became my way of surviving. But the cruelest thing about love is this. The person who leaves first often hurts the most. After I resigned, everything around Ningbing slowly began falling apart. The tea no longer tasted right. The rehearsals felt empty. The piano room became unbearably quiet. For the first time in 10 years, he finally noticed my absence. On my final day, rain poured endlessly outside the music hall. I packed my belongings alone while his piano echoed through the empty halls. Every corner of that room carried memories I could never erase. The sunlight that used to fall across his shoulders, the late-night rehearsals, the quiet moments I treasured alone, 10 years of love buried in silence, and now it was finally over. That night I returned to my apartment and sat alone on the floor listening to his piano recordings. Then suddenly, I laughed. I laughed until tears filled my eyes. Because after spending 10 years loving someone, I realized I no longer knew how to live for myself. And somewhere in this city, the world-famous pianist who once ignored my feelings was desperately searching for me like he had lost everything. But some people only realize someone's value after they're already gone. I spent 10 years loving him in silence. He spent 10 years never noticing me. By the time he finally understood what I meant to him, I had already walked away. Some love stories don't end because people stop loving each other. They end because one person stayed silent for far too long.